Good morning. It is November 7th, and Chase and I are set up down at the River Bottom Farm. It's a beautiful day. It's a little warm today. It's 50 degrees when we got in here, and it's supposed to get up in the 70s. We're back in the same set where we've encountered Dak twice. We're at the head of the slough. This is the neck of the peninsula. The peninsula is mostly bedding. And he's been really hanging out in this area quite a bit over the last 10 days. We've already seen 3 bucks. One came under us before camera light, and we've had a couple others cruise by, a couple does. My primary targets are Dak and then Merino. Merino showed up on camera October 28th and 29th, and then we haven't had him back since. Merino was really daylight active November 6th and 7th last year on this farm. So I'm hoping he comes look for does in here today. But I feel like I have my better chances at Dak, so we're going to sit back and enjoy the morning. Man, that is the epitome of a mature buck. His body is unbelievable. His head, neck, everything. That's we just call him the 6x5. We've never named him. His 5-point side is just about missing the brow. He's the same one that came under us on November 1st, and we saw him out of the stand the next day, November 2nd, I believe. He never got in close. He's bedded at 20 yards the entire morning, and I never noticed. He's just in this big grass patch. So we were set up this morning about 5:45, and now it's 8:45, so I've been sitting here for like 3 hours. He stood up right around 8:30 and took off cruising into the wind. It's been pretty slow so far. We had that little bit of movement right at daylight, then he stood up out of his bed, so hopefully that's a sign that a lot of deer will be getting up out of their beds and taking off, and the activity will pick up. It's about 11:30. We're going to start packing up. I need to make a switch for the afternoon. The wind is starting to switch from southwest to southeast, and that kind of cuts across to the river right here. I think it's the slowest rut hunt that Chase and I have had. We had only a couple does come back in here, and we've seen a couple small bucks cruising. It was really cool to have a big mature buck bedded under us at 20 yards and be able to sneak in here and not spook him out, and have him stand up and do his thing. But after him, we had one little half rack come by, and I think we might have seen one doe. So it's been slow, but you never know this time of year. It can all change in a minute. So we're gonna get packed up. I got to make a couple phone calls, and then we'll decide where we want to go, and we'll see you back in the tree. made the move and we're all set up. We're still on the River Bottom farm, but we're on the acreage that I purchased this past spring that borders Jared and I's. I think this is my 4th sit out here. I'm finally in this stand that we hung this past summer, Grant and Chase and I, on this little plot I put in. This is one of my favorite areas on the whole farm. Lots of thick bedding. We can actually see all the way to the river. Lots of deer bed here, and then it's great for cruising. We've got a little green plot on the way out to the big ag fields. It just sets up really nice for access and for natural deer movement. Dak has never been this far into this piece of property, but he's been relatively close, a few hundred yards away. I have a couple big 8s and the double beam buck and black-eyed 10. They all have been this far down. I got one pretty interesting series of trail camera photos of a buck on this plot. He's got splits on all of his tines. I can't really tell how big he is or how old he is, so it's a deer that I'd love to see again, or at least get some better photos of. I'm not sure where he came from. I've got enough cameras up and down the river where I feel like if he was just running the river, we'd have more pictures, so I kind of wonder if he didn't come from across the river. The deer will do that every now and again, and they'll go back and you won't see them. Now that all the leaves have fallen off the trees, we can see a long ways. So it'll be pretty cool to see what we see tonight, and we might see some chasing, far away, and maybe be able to call or rattle. It's exciting to sit the plot, and it's one I've been waiting to do for a while, so hopefully we have some good action here on November 7th. Black eye. Finally had some action the last 30 minutes. It was really slow this afternoon. We saw 2 does in the first 2.5 hours, just kind of walking around in the timber. And then things heated up at the end as a does, and everybody started getting up out of their beds and filing out to the food source here. Ended up laying eyes on one of the main bucks I wanted to see. It's just a really mature 8-point. I've actually got a really beautiful picture of him in velvet. And he's been very active on this end of the farm. He's super mature. He's a deer I'd like to get out of here. But, he was down in the waterway down here, and I could see another buck coming. Turns out it was the black-eyed 10, and that's a 5.5-year-old. And that 8-point walked him off like it was nothing. He postured up to him, and the 10 just turned and left. So that 8's, obviously dominant in this area. Unfortunately, he walked away from us with his doe. I would have loved to have him come in the food plot and get a better look at him, but we had a couple does come out of the thicket and a young buck chasing them, and then we had a bunch of turkeys try to roost in the tree with us, so it's been fun for the last few minutes. We'll be back out tomorrow, so we'll see you guys then. November 7th has come and gone.